Welcome to our executive interview series at the Google Defense Forum presented by Defense Group. I'm Wyatt Cash for Scoop News Group, and we're here today with Sandra Joyce, Vice President of Mandiant Intelligence for Google Cloud. Sandra, thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to start by asking, where do you believe AI will likely have the greatest impact for DoD and coalition partners to improve joint decision making?
Well, if you think about the potential for AI to do very, very intricate tasks at the scale and volume of things that we haven't seen before, then you're looking at pattern recognition and things like multimodal analysis, things that that were very manual in the past are going to be going at lightning speed. What do I mean by that? I mean that we'll be able to take in vast amounts of detail and rationalize them and look for standard patterns. We're going to be able to do very rapid decision making and predictive analytics. The way that AI operates is it can take an enumeration of a vast amount of data, look at what happened in the past, and then do some of that predictive analytics to help provide an advantage on the battlefield. Another way that it can actually help with coalitions specifically is that the language barrier is going to be a thing of the past. With real-time AI language translation, we'll be able to take those who are non-English speaking or speak any number of other languages. They're going to be able to communicate in real time, and that's going to be a huge advantage when we're working together.
Terrific. And then another area that we're interested in is, as you know, vulnerabilities in software continue to pose security risks to the nation's defenses. How can defense organizations build a more resilient and secure software supply chain?
Well, I think that the first step is you really need to have a comprehensive software supply chain management program. And what this can do is really help you to map out at all of your stakeholders, all of your vendors, and really do an assessment of the risk and then how you plan to manage that risk. Another thing to do is to really embed the standards that we have in those contracts and in those relationships from the get-go. This could be things like standards for coding, or standards for having a software bill of materials that really delineates what exactly is going into the code that you're putting into your weapon systems or your offerings or your software. So I think those are some of the ways. And additionally, to have a really modernized way of doing incident response and patch management. If everything is critical, as they say, nothing is critical. So really understanding, is this vulnerability something that has a lot of hype? Or is it actually being executed in the wild? Is it actually being used, or is it just something done in the laboratory? Well, if it's being executed in the wild and has remote execution, it probably needs to be higher on that prioritization. So doing that prioritization, having that comprehensive program, that's a really good first step.
Well, Sandra Joyce, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us here at the Google Defense Forum.
Thank you for having me.